The whole point of this course is to walk you through step by step everything that you need in order to plan your perfect Disney vacation. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to watch every module because not everybody's going to do the same things. There are three keys to planning a magical Disneyland trip. The first is you don't have to do everything. Sometimes less is a lot more. There can be a temptation to try to book every ride, every dining reservation, every special activity. And what happens is parents driving their kids from ride to ride, even though they're miserable because they're trying to pack everything in. If you focus on a fewer number of activities or attractions or things that you want to do in the day and give some room for things to happen naturally, you'll have a much more relaxed trip, much more fun, and it leaves something for next time. Even Disney pros like George and I don't try to do everything in just a few short days in Disneyland because it's just not fun. So we want to make sure that we're setting expectations correctly, really thinking about where we want to spend our time so you get the most out of your Disney trip. The second key is that a little planning can mean a lot less time in lines. Timing and the order of what attractions and shows that you do makes a big difference in the amount of time that you end up waiting. There are, of course, things like Genie Plus, and we're going to talk about all of those. But our goal in this class is to help give you some of the pro advantages that people who go to Disneyland know the system, know how to make it work, do in order to make sure that they're spending less time in line and more time having fun. The third key is to let the magic happen. And that means being flexible. Sometimes kids end up not loving the things that we anticipate or we planned, or the reason even that we booked the trip to begin with isn't the thing that they actually liked. When my son was little, I was so excited to take him on Radiator Springs races because he was obsessed with cars at the time. I was so excited. It was the reason that we were going to the park. Turns out he doesn't like thrill rides. He had nightmares for 2 months afterwards because it was just a little too intense for him. But the thing that he did love is playing on the playground in Toontown, something I never would have even thought of that we should do, but they had so much fun. My son's 16 now, and when he heard Toontown was reopened, the first thing he asked about was a specific section of that playground because he had so many happy memories playing there. A lot of times when we were playing there, I would hear other adults yelling at their kids saying, "I didn't spend $1,000 for you to play on a playground." We hear the same thing on Tom Sawyer's Island. Sometimes the things that they want to do and the memories that they make, you just can't plan. So you want to be flexible and know that things are probably not going to go exactly the way that you planned. And that's why we've designed Park Magic to help you be able to go with the flow a little bit and be a little less regimented with your Disney plans. So no matter what happens, just stay focused on the fun. In this course, we're going to walk you through the planning. This includes picking your times and dates, getting your tickets, and even booking your airfare, dining reservations, and special activities. We also have some tools to help you identify what attractions, what rides you want to ride while you're at Disneyland. Before we get started in planning your Disney trip, let's start with just a few reminders. And the first is that you can plan a wonderful trip to Disneyland with even just 1 or 2 days' notice. You're not going to get maybe all of the reservations that you want, but you can still have a really great time. So even if you're planning on going on your trip very soon, this course will still help you. Now, if you're an A type personality and you are planning this trip 6 months in advance, this course is also for you. And we're going to give you all the checklists that your little heart could want. And the reason I can tell you that is because I am an A type personality. And the fun thing about Park Magic is that George and I are very different. George likes to be a lot more spontaneous. I like to have things planned out. So we're going to give you the best of both worlds from our different perspectives. And remember, you don't have to plan every second of your trip at Disneyland. Our tools are designed to help you better be able to go with the flow and still spend less time in line and have more fun. The only thing that is absolutely mandatory for you to do in order to have a good time at the Disneyland Resort is to have a park ticket and to have a park reservation. Now, there's lots of other little things that we're going to tell you about sizes of strollers and what rides to go on first and how to use Genie Plus. All of that's going to be included in the course. But we want to remember that if you get overwhelmed, as long as you have your park ticket and your park reservation, you can still have a wonderful trip at Disneyland. We just want to make sure that you know all the tips and tricks of people that go all the time so that you can make sure you're getting the most out of your Disney trip. Because let's face it, a trip to Disney is expensive, and I want you to have the best trip possible. Let's go ahead and get started on planning your Disney trip.